purgatory, my rest, my rack, Stratford upon Avon, longing and loathing, place of sharp memory, such pointed memory. 'Tis potent mixture, an alchemist's attempt to have both ways, gold and iron, comfort and weighty change. I see you have come again, as I had thought, to spur me on, my dear airy lion. Little sprite, small spirit made of fast fire, have you come once more to refine desire?
Joy!
Such heft, in such a tiny word, enjoy. How can I enjoy that joy when my sad heart feels so heavy and firm? Wilt thou bring me with thee to thy high place to see if my heart fares better there?
Joy!
Is that all thou canst say? Thy whole message? What rules do spirits have to abide?
Joy!
Joy to whom? Joy from whom? On whom? With whom? I have sought joy in all the wrong places, for still it evades my entreaty. Gone. If I could but tear down heaven's tall tree and bring thee back to those loving, living that miss thee. Yet thou art more free up there. I will still remember thee. Who could forget? Seeing the one on whom his heart is set. Pardon me, sir, I did not see thee there.
And yet I saw thee. We do all see thee, master of Stratford, prodigal repaired. From my youth I have seen thee in despair.
Do I know thee, sir?
Not a whit, sirrah. You know not else except what Narcissus knew.
I see thou art not civil.
Should I be? Civility brings peace. Haps I want a brawl.
Why would thy mind have aught of me at all? I know thee not.
And yet I know thy face, if I could but maul its monstrous features.
If thou had caught me in my younger days, I would do more than bite my thumb, dear sir. I would bite thine. Yet I aim for peace, so must cool my blood and sacred mercy for thy most gracious and good company.
Thou didst see that burr of a cur? That scut, that loggerhead who vainly claims wisdom? That sly hedge pig whose quills he pretends smooth? That onion nose, that swag-bellied Shakespeare? Surely thou hast heard of his bright frame? Hot-wrought fortune made of paper and ink, which alchemists formed into breathing golems. If thou hast not heard of him, then go ask the vain Moldwarp, and he shall inform thee. That rake hell hath not the skill he boasts of. Whilst I was in London with my father, I witnessed some of his overwrought plays. My old parents sung him as something great. Ovid reborn in an Englishman's form, and from our own humble Stratford to wit. Yet when I watched those bland, mewling players perform those travesty of tragedies, I could not help but make sport of his words. I laughed at the deaths. Oh, I wept at the jests. Thus mortified was I, when my father went to that milk-livered gleeking actor and fawned, abased himself so that he could borrow money from that frog, that toadstool. Shame burned to see my patriarch kneeling for a player. It was he who should kneel. Breakspeare feigned to feel for my poor forebear, thus granting the shamed and pitiful request, as if his imposture was draped in alms, in benevolence, in blessed charity. Such false agape I forthwith abjure. I knew what he was, what he hid neath that false love. A wolf sheep, a con, a pseudo-Jew, like his own Shylock, his copy. He laid traps, trading his cursed coins for a pound of flesh. Good fortune it was then my father died, before such usury be complete, and later come fully bloody due. You believe Shakes the saint? Great man of words? If there be sincerity in that scratch, 'tis because he stole the words, called them his. I forswore traffic with verbs of folly, and would thus then nurse ale and tobacco, entertain jade on happy knee, or be witness of bear or bull baited, rather than see Will's plays overrated. If that clay-brained canary hath not skill with art and bold beauty, signed by cold bill, there is yet one form his flesh can find craft. He wrought a bonny girl, that keen shake shaft. Good morrow, adored Mistress Shakespeare.
Hast thou seen my father, Thomas Quiney? I am bade gainst my will to meet him home.
I care not for thy father's whereabouts, but welcome thy warm presence hereabouts.
I tire of thy false flatteries, sirrah. Hast thou seen my father, William Shakespeare?
If I had, I would blot it out of my mind.
Oh, if it were but so simply done for me. As 'tis, I must have missed his coming.
Dost thou admire my jerkin, Miss Shakespeare?
Thou dost jerk thy jerkin, if thou think'st I care for thy covering, Thomas Quiney.
Thou dost smother me with what I love best.
What is that, sirrah?
I love nothing more than a good barb. It reveals a sharp mind and a most merry, jesting wit withal.
Then thou wouldst be killed with loving malice.
Aye, and die within thy murderous eyes.
Then perhaps I am for thee after all, Thomas, for I would mar all thy base mistreadings and break thy pate with hate. Oh, it methinks that e'en thy affection for flagellation would suffer my love of sharp spite. And so, my dear spaniel, who loves a hard kicking, find a gentler lover and a safe mistress, and leave me to my mournful mistress.
Wait!
Thou dost seem to enjoy inflicting pain as much as receiving it in kind.
If thou wouldst receive my inflicted pain, I would morph it into sensuous pleasure. An alchemist of feeling, thus am I, transforming one sensation to another.
Ah, it would be a true scientist who could use philosopher's stone to transform my grief. Dost thou think thou canst take this heart, with its iron dross, to purified gold?
Iron is tougher stuff than yellow gold.
But less supple. So I say again, I am not for thee, despite thy attempts, which have been many these past several years.
Doth that not speak to my bold constancy?
It doth speak to thy bold stupidity.
Wilt thou receive neither my love nor hate, but give me such lukewarm indifference?
Indifference? Then let me be clear, thou lewd, dankish coxcomb. I have had enough of thy coy, cowish coverture. Thy beslubbering words are a pox and a plague upon my life. I will no longer be beholden to such blazing, blubbering bibble-babble. I do entreat thee that thou shouldst inflict such posturing pestilence into some other woman's ears. I would have nothing to do with a fen-sucked, quarrelsome quat of a sheep-brook.
Oh, I am enraptured and ravished, poet of hard love and soft hate. Speak again, speak again!
Oh, most despicable, impossible rogue!
Oh. What fiery fury and flaming passion! Nay, she is not indifferent, indeed. I do thus spy some marks of hate in her. And if she hates me, then she can love me. If thou dost not follow such arithmetic, I shall prove my answer by and by. Beholdest, in my keen cunning design, an art far yond of Shakespeare thou shalt find.
To be found at the gate.
I did tell thee not to be so tardy.
If thou didst miss our father at the gates, why is he not met here thus before thee?
Oh, thy father hath rambling feet, They know not straight ways, but wander as a bee to hive. 'Tis already.
Aye, mother. I'll warrant that the most critical stranger would proclaim, thy house is clean as all courtesy.
'Tis not made for strangers, but thy father.
Is difference to be had?
Be not saucy. It does not become a gracious lady of thy stature to wag so.
Lady, I, plain Judith Shakespeare, nay, Susanna, thou hast swallowed the myth whole.
Thou art a true gentleman's daughter.
I am the seed of a bawdy actor, an upstart poet whose vain ambitions vaulted him o'er these guarded walls.
Yonder coat of arms would quarrel with thee on that point, methinks.
Forsooth, bedeviled, pretending coat of arms.
Why this sour disposition? I would love to see thee happy.
I would love to see us all thus happy, mother, if father were here to make it so.
He shall be here today and make thee seer.
Here today, then gone again, traveling as a bouncing, speedy stream.
Nay, thou dost cozen thy father's substance.
Why doth he run wet 'tween my fingers when I try to keep him?
Berate him still. 'Tis his so generous hand that hath provided our home, new place, this grand roof overhead.
Yet his so generous head rarely sleeps here.
He oft provided us home in London.
Which such home, the Globe or the Blackfriars? I confess I liked both well enough, but found no bed in them to call my own.
Then thou lookest not on thy father's warm heart, for I have found plenty of good rest there.
Aye, for thou art the bird's favorite daughter, his Susanna, his precious Cordelia.
If any favor is thus to be found, it is because I have provided rest to his weary limbs and warm embrace, not a cold wind to bite his worn face.
Travelers should sure expect the wind and ice. So thus not ask sweet breath nor warmth from me. What needs that man my love? That knave my praise when he doth have approbation ready from king's court, clucking groundlings alike. Oh, if only he did need less from those who not then, not now know his blind heart. Instead, if he did wait for those who yearn for him here, if he did give horse rest in our stables, or comfort to our mother's best bed, then thou wouldst see brash youth spin and grow cold, and find my words warm to cast out cold.
I bespeak thee sternly, shrewish daughter. Is this the baleful token thou presents in gratitude for his generous heart? Nay, Judith, thou shalt not so leave till thou deliver honest answer.
Why do you, woman, shrive his bypast sins? Thou who art most offended by neglect.
Thou speakst history as if thou wert a scholar acquainted. Wantonly thou dost bray, as I might expect from thee when thou wast a youth. Fulsome art thou in thy ignorance of the wide world, floating bitter fancy about thee, flashing the flesh of thy favorite fables. By my troth, in that thou art truly thy father's daughter.
Nay, his parenting was thus spent abroad. As thou sayest, I am but ignorant. Yet how didst thou, and the will of words, raise so rough and benighted a daughter? Unlike thee and the noble Susanna, I cannot even scratch out my own name.
If she were mine, I would slap her fresh face.
Dost thou also now so rudely upbraid me?
Nay, I would that the brightest archangels bring thee manna-like comfort at all times. Thou didst accost her impudence bravely.
But in so doing did I lose her love.
What is a child's love if used as a scepter to reign with most base, selfish tyranny?
Yet I long for such, even if I am made subject to its stern looks once a while.
Say not so, for thou hast this child's sweet love, with some to spare.
For which I am grateful. For that good spare I may yet need to use up. Here he comes.
Papa!
Ah, the delight of my affection, she who waits for me thus ever faithful, she who never doubts my heart to be true.
The delight is mine, my dearest Papa. Thy return is ever like unto spring that blasts the frost, with the frigid binding of cold gone. I smell but apple blossoms.
Oh, how I revel in thy words.
Husband,
Good morrow, good Anne.
callest me good, Will?
Always good. Be that not doubted, never.
I thus thought it, doubted ever.
I am in good spirits. Let us leave it.
thou say so, husband.
I say it. Aye, in gentle earnestness. I say it.
Gentle spirits, indeed. How comes all this? In so few visits a year, 'tis a rare thing for him to seem content or at peace here. Always restless, always ready to go back to his wider globe. Is it thus now? We have finished with the house. Should I also instruct the cook to put the fire on?
Oh, I am not hungry, Anne, but for one thing.
What one thing is that?
Nothing.
Say nothing. Dost thou jest with me?
If I do so jest, I shall take the trickster Puck's joke further.
This lewd levity is not for me.
Ooh. Well, thou art in a rare mood.
Why so rare for a man to want to kiss his fair wife?
Do not mock me, sir.
In faith, I do not.
I wouldst almost think I'd met one of thy twins, like those mistaken in thy comedies.
By my troth, this is no comedy's error. And I would like to make thee laugh loudly.
Oh. If this be no jade's trick, and thou belikest to finish this race, then I say we ought take merriment to another quarter.
Aye, that we may roll in wondrous laughter.
I spy this bright, beauteous portrait again. A stray witness would think that I pine for one that I call lover. So divine of heart, of hand, of soul. In short, a man. But this be not a man, nor 'tis woman neither, lest thou think I'm wild bent towards that wind. Nay, the figure that sits beside me in this small painting so dear to my slight heart, 'tis not a man, but couldst have been had he been granted a longer life to live. I'll reveal it, it is Hamnet, my twin. My poor, dead, dear brother, so long gone now. He was but 10 and 1, so I the same when Osiris claimed his soft, small spirit. Death was too cruel not to take me with him. For what man or woman could fill the ache left by him who with me shared tender womb? Not all soulmates are made after the shape of wild-hearted lovers made passionate. There be those who find peace in a brother. Yet since gone, I have not found another. What is this small boy who belooks so cold? Nay, 'tis truly thee. If I do blench at the sight, will he leave me? Nay, depart not, spirit. Hamnet, hast thou words for me? Come now, speak. A mute ghost he appears, but not frightful. Oh, Hamnet, dost thou e'en recognize me? I am much changed since we last embraced. Joy. He speaks. If but only a single word. Yes. Boy, touch my warm face if thou art real. I cannot feel fingers though I see them. I did but now view our childhood portrait. Have my wits departed my grieved mind? Would I care if it was proved e'en so? Nay, I delight in this bright, youthful ghost, and wouldst have him always in my sweet view. What brings thee from shadowed purgatory? Nay, not from that contested, racked, dim place. Thou wast but a child pure. Hence from heaven thou art sent to see me and deliver a message. Joy. Nay, do not leave me so unsatisfied. No, depart not. Since thy previous bright light extinguisheth, dark I am made more aware.
Who was that boy thou didst speak to just now?
Father! Didst thou truly see that boy?
Nay, not his face. Thou did cover that. He reminded me of a poor boy who has come to visit me in so like manner.
Nay, thou art mistaken. This boy was ever a stranger to thee.
Perhaps thy acquaintances, as thy griefs, are thus known to me more intimately than thou had considered. Other matters. Thy mother proclaims of thy anger that thou hast to quarrel with me, Judith.
My feelings for thee have been constant ever since I was a child. Thou dost boil my blood.
Thou dost answer with brutal honesty. Knowest how often thou art in my thoughts?
Thy thoughts may breed and copulate ever, but they send no child, boy nor girl to me.
My thoughts are not my true children. Thou art.
Dost thou think so? In truth? Nay, thou liest. For see how thy thoughts have taken up flesh and form to strut and dance and die again, only to be resurrected in you. Are not these thy brave brood in very deed?
I do love those playing shadows, but I love those shadows not for themselves, but for the remembered forms that cast them. Hast thou not seen in them thy reflection?
What? Sayest thou I walk in Regan's gate, that Goneril's serpent tooth do I wear?
Nay, thou art Viola, the twin that did survive the storm, but die in heart to see her brother sink neath the waves. Canst thou believe that thy poor father's eyes can see in thee the joy he saw in him? For when thou didst lose thy noble, sweet twin, I myself felt the rack herein. He was my son. Thou art my daughter.
Yet thou wast not here when we saw his life fall away.
Aye. And like thy broken heart, that doth pain me still.
How dost thou, Will?
Thou dost speak aright. She hateth me.
Thou didst think once I with spite hated thee, that with that hate I threw thee straight away. That hate was but short-sighted counterfeit. It couldst not last, for I do know thy heart.
But she knows not my heart, my mind, as thou dost. That is the chief trouble at root herein. For so many summers I told her, I am thy true father, thy chiefest kin, and then fell away like dead and yellow leaf that was green when air was warm and wholesome, but grows brittle when winter air stings.
The storms have come again to thy grim brow. Didst thou not arrive in glad-colored array with the full intent to enjoy the day?
Aye, such 'twas my sincere intent to do, as I rode home this beauteous day. I thought of past bitter nights, how far they seemed. From this green land I once was banished, and am now called the town's great good father. I am called rich and gentleman true, and rich I am, so 'tis not without right.
Yes.
I did purchase that coat of arms to show what my father did, what he failed to do. Lives in me as prophecy fulfilled. Was it boastful joy to finally claim such glad honor, such bliss, such happiness?
No.
And even when I saw thee, who has suffered my absence as a hard accusation, turn it against thy heart and good honor, who has made me suffer in dread return, I did not see our pains and arguments. Instead, I remembered when thy warm, darling face did gaze at me in full, and I remembered I did truly love thee.
Hold to, dearest husband, and keep that love within thy breast so that it may stay contained.
As I crossed this green land, thought did linger, and that comfort did light upon my finger as a bird in gay confidence doth dare tender a giant to give it safe care. But trembled, the slightest motion in sea, that bravery gone, flown back to angry sea.
Where goest thou, Will?
Dost not know. I tire, therefore I will follow suit and retire.
Oh! Exquisite bliss and plagued heart have ne'er lived in such close quarters as now do mine. I urged him marry me when child conceived, hoping the love I saw in him would last. But now, even after all these long years, his mind still rounds and turns to past tears.
Mother, dost thou fare well?
I fare enough.
Not all is well twixt father and Judith.
Nay.
What is betwixt father and thee? He seemed merry before.
He was. We were.
Yet then?
The sand settled in the water, and he did thus see me clearly again. I was not the mermaid imagined before, rather a siren.
Say not so, he loves thee. I know it must be true.
By what sign canst I truly know such? Before times I gained love tokens of his, and pledged my faith in those sacraments. But I have caught more sheets of professed love with his signature to some strange dark name of some other lady he must hold dear. And then my pilgrim's prayers caught in my dry throat, and I felt to curse what I once worshipped. But these are not thoughts for my darling daughter, whom I taught myths of eternal love. A child should believe her parents love each other.
'Tis no myth. I saw it in thee both. I desire to see that fire rekindled. My eyes did not lie, they saw love betwixt thee. Neither lied thy honest hearts.
Believe it. Perhaps our dark heresy shall be purged by thy faith. Now, I am exhausted, tired, worn, and whittled from the long day.
Oh, what little hope this all gives to me. When I see love stripped from those who claimed it in their younger days of morning sunlight, when their hearts were as light as their conscience. Look how weary with sin and grief they are now that youth and vitality are gone. Look at how tired and sad their eyes, drawn down to the mournful earth, who doth call them to lay down and give up their regrets to her slumber. Does love lay down her glad burden so quick when opposed by lethargic fatigue? Or can she rise again, a Lazarus? I have my own love that is locked in here, that I dare not utter to evil air, which plucks such hopes from our exposed breasts. Am I Pandora with her secret box, safe, as long as I do not open it? But once love, made plain to the whole wide world, does she not begin to break down, exposed to cold mortal air that brings the dank, dark chill that will kill not only her own dear self, but infect with desperate kiss her proclaimed love? And that whole wide world sends spores from her foul, stinking, cursed mouth into the ears who hear her infections. Perhaps it best to keep closed this box. Protect my love by binding it with locks.
I have heard this and cannot unhear it. My daughter, whom I adore, cannot love another, since she thinks, wretched will, I cannot love her dear mother. I, who has thus writ about love so often, has turned my Susanna's love into a coffin. My unworthy heart I must now forswear, and place again a better one in there.
you to be rid of thee.
Marry me. Then all is as it should be, and I would find no reason to tarry, except for meals, and prayers. And when we make merry...
Nay, here is my house. Thou art forbidden.
How so? Be there some enchantment hidden? Perhaps there is some witch's charm or hex.
Aye, and such magic make your ships into wrecks.
Then thou dost not know the power of rhyme, which shall make thee mine if I bide my time.
Nay, tardy clocks tell erroneous hours, and truants shall be locked out of towers.
Judith, just listen.
Get thee gone, Thomas.
Thou might call me a sad fool to persist, but her witch's charms I cannot resist.